whereas we had learned that it should be a good servant, and today somehow now we have changed, and we have amongst us one of the most noted artists in the country, who is known nationally and internationally, Adil Sahab. Adil Sahab and Uttam Prakash, the moderator of the 20th non-stop session of the RGDE. A warm welcome to all of you. We are honored a thinker, and perhaps most important, someone who understands the subtle power of honest communication. We are also honored to have amongst us our Central Provident Fund Commissioner, Ramesh Krishnamurthy sir, who is joining in a second. We are honored to have the senior officers of the to welcome you and hear you in person. Thank you so much, and I am extremely sorry and apologetic about inconvenience caused because of the technical issue which we had no control, and our team has done exceedingly well to fix it in a record time. And so, at EPO, the officers community as such, we do not share a common mother tongue, but we do share something even stronger, a common thread of purpose that holds us together. Adil Sahab would say it, a bit of Fevicol ka joke. Friends, Adil Bhai's journey cuts across language, borders and global cinema. But what truly defines his work isn't just where he has been, it is how he connects, without noise, without pretense, just with presence and sincerity. Now, listening is well known and appreciated credentials for me would be a huge risk tasting the knowledge of this very accomplished, august crowd. So I'll avoid that temptation. But yes, we remember Adil Bhai as Sri Devi's husband in English Village, or the serious cop in Man or Charles. He has been part of films like Ishqiya, Lutera, and Good News. In all of these, we clearly see he never shouts for attention. Rather, very smartly, effortlessly secures his presence. Since the conversation today is about connecting well, so may I request my team at the National Academy to have a small video of Adil Sahab, please.
Known for his critically acclaimed performances in award-winning theatre and films. Othello, a play in black and white, directed by Royston Abel, received international acclaim and was awarded the French First in Edinburgh. His role in this play received rave reviews from the Scotsman and the Independent in the UK. Having acted in more than 80 films, he is known for his work in films such as Ang Lee Oscar-winning Life of Pi, Shubh Ashish Bhutiani Hotel Salvation and Mukti Bhavan, What Will People Say, Pariksha, The Wayfarer, Tigers, The Reluctant Fundamentalist, Sunrise, Gangor, Past. For his lead role in Hotel Salvation and Majrati Ketki, he received a national award in India in 2017. He received the Norwegian National Award. He has received over 25 international awards. He has been nominated for numerous Best Actor awards and won at the Washington, D.C. South Asian Film Festival. He received Best Actor award for his work in Lessons in Forgetting at the New Jersey Independent South Asian Cine Fest and the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor 2021 for his performances in the short film Me. He received the London International Film Festival Outstanding Achievement Award 2020 for for his contribution to global cinema. He also has been acknowledged by his home state in receiving Best Assamese Person of the Year Award 2015. He is widely known for his roles in English Winglish, Lutera, Mayor Charles, Ayari, and has acted in numerous independent as well as commercial films in the Hindi, Bengali, Assamese, Malayali, Tamil film industries as well as in many Indo-European art house films. He also played Jasoos Vijay in the well-known BBC World Service Trust television series by the same name. He was also one of the main actors in a Netflix series Delhi Crime, which was the first ever Indian production to receive an International Emmy Award. Born in Goalpara in the mid-60s, Adil started his adventure in acting as a young stand-up comedian. He then received a scholarship to study acting at the National School of Drama from 1990 to 1993, after which he took a short course at the Drama Studio London. Following this, he performed for 1 year in the Hengul Theatre in Assam and then for another 2 years with the International Dance Theatre in Amsterdam. Adil undertook his own personal research into the craft of acting when he spent 2.5 years on a river island in Karnataka researching the craft of acting with the International Group of Performing Artists. He has taught acting at the National School of Drama.
वर्मा जी, हम वर्मा नहीं है, कुलश्रेष्ठ, श्याम प्रसाद कुलश्रेष्ठ।
Film and Television Institute, Pune.
Felicitate our guest of the day, please. This will be done through a traditional
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Friends, we live in a country where nearly everything has to pass through a filter, translation, interpretation, expectation, and in this process, something often gets lost. And that something is often the human voice. That is what today's conversation is all about. Speaking to be understood, from informing to connecting, the theme is close to every public servant's mind. Because whether the director of the National Academy, Kumar Rohit sir, to give his formal welcome address, please.
And a very warm welcome to all of you joining us from across the country. It's a real pleasure to have you with us today for a truly special occasion, the 20th Reimagining Governance Discourse for Excellence. That number 20, it's both humbling and energizing. What began as a modest space to pause, reflect, and think more deeply beyond routine has quietly evolved into something that is actively shaping how we work, how we live, how we serve. Over the years, this platform has sparked meaningful and lasting change. Following our session on compassion-led governance, we began designing our new training module, one we hope will become an integral part of officer training across the country. Our conversations with Sri Adil Hussain on institutional capacity helped refine our focus to the point where the EPFO and our academy in particular are now recognized by the Capacity Building Commission. So yes, this platform has grown, not just in scale but in significance and impact. And today's session feels particularly important. Our theme, speaking to be understood, is all but intention. It is not just about sharing information. It is about truly connecting with those we serve. At EPFO, sir, Our stakeholders come from every corner of society, from daily wage earners and factory workers to highly skilled professionals. This diversity demands communication that is rooted in empathy, clarity, and respect. In today's world, especially in public service, this is not a soft skill, it is the core capability. It defines how we build trust, resolve complexity, and deliver dignity through every interaction. Which brings us to our guest today, someone who deeply embodies the spirit of authentic connection. Sri Adil Hussain is more than an acclaimed actor. He is a storyteller who transcends language and culture, whether portraying the quietly conflicted husband in English or navigating the emotional depths of a character in Ishqiya. What shines through is his honesty, his presence, and his quiet strength. It is the way he shows up, how he listens deeply, speaks with simplicity, and holds his truth with grace that makes this conversation so special. These are not just artistic qualities, they are deeply human ones. And in the context of public service, they are also deeply necessary. His ability to make people feel and seen heard without noise, without force, is a powerful reminder of the kind of communication that builds bridges, not walls. At the National Academy, we often say, we don't just train people to follow rules, we help them find their voice. Because it is voice, thoughtful, grounded and human, that transforms governance from a system into a relationship. Adilji, on behalf of the Academy and the entire EPFO family, we are truly honored to welcome you. We look forward to today not as an event, but as a quiet turning point, a reminder to speak not for effect, but for impact. To everyone present, thank you for making this platform what it has become in its 20th edition. And a special word of gratitude to Sri Ramesh Krishnamurthy sir, our Dean and CPFC, for his continued support and vision in nurturing this initiative. Thank you so much, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Hind.
Formally and warmly welcome him to this session, please. I know it has been a very hectic day for you. Without
Very warm welcome to Adil Hussain. He was very graciously agreed to be here with us physically, actually, in front of all our officers, staff, and probationers at the National Academy, feeding us. And it is a great honor for us to be welcoming you. So, a very warm welcome to you, Adil Hussain. It is, as my previous colleagues have already mentioned previously, that this is the 20th edition of this monthly discourse that we have. And this is a way for all our officers, staff spread across all over the country to connect, in this case physically, but otherwise online, with very eminent personalities, people who have been able to share their vision for India, their experience, knowledge, and their piece of advice and guidance to us as we go ahead in rediscovering, I would say, EPFO in services of this great country. So, sir, today we are very grateful for your acceptance because very rarely we come across people from the field of arts, fine arts, people like you from the domain of cinema, drama, and theatre to be amongst us, because you bring a completely, I would say, a completely different, with a blinder, and we go about doing our job to the best capacity possible. you are bringing a dimension that is completely different, completely creative, completely out of the box. And I think we are all very humbled by your presence. Without much room, I welcome you again. As my colleague here, Rohit, has already mentioned, I think you bring a very quiet but strong presence to whichever domain you choose, whether it is theatre, drama, or cinema, and your personality is really, it comes across in a very beautiful way. A very understated, very powerful, but in a very beautiful way. I wish you again all success in your endeavors, and I wish that you can share some of your experience, your life journey, how you have come along with this topic is extremely relevant to us, about how we are speaking to be understood, and how you communicate, how you expose your innermost feelings to the outside world and to others. I think we'll be very grateful for your guidance, your experience sharing, and I hope the entire community of our officers spread across the entire country will greatly benefit from this today's discourse. Thank you so much.
We have got many questions amongst from the audiences, and one of them is very childlike. And he says, whenever we want to say something all the time, the right things we want to say, but still we are not able to connect with the people with whom we are trying to speak. Why does it happen? And will you be kind enough to give certain solutions? But these are many questions which will come to you in person. May I now request the director, sir, to request the on-duty person who shall
Take it further.
please.
Good evening, Adil ji, and a very warm welcome to this conversation. For us, it's a rare privilege to have you in our midst to share your thoughts, perspectives with our officers, right from the greenhorns that we have seated in the audience. These are the young probationers.
I haven't looked at them yet properly. Hello everybody. Hello. Hello. I wish I had time to look at every one of your eyes, but generally, good to see you. Thank you for being there.
I'm sure you can see stars in many eyes.
Yes.
They're all starry-eyed to look at you. To the grey-haired ones who have weathered many turbulences. So, as we say, experience is the best teacher. And who better to give us an insight into values, purpose, how to live with integrity in public life than someone who personifies all of these. So we would like to connect with you today with your experiences and sip from the amrit that you have accumulated in your vast repertoire. So without wasting much time, I will invite you to begin with your opening remarks, also shining some light on the fine art of authentic communication. How we can speak and communicate to be understood by connecting rather than informing. Shubhakari, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and I must thank Rohitji for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
I didn't even know you existed. So I had been absolutely, he took me by surprise when he said, I was like, oh, this is how it is done. What you all do across the country, and a huge responsibility that you have taken on your shoulders when you put a gun on your head. And you decided to choose to, is this okay? You decided to choose, choose to be the person who would provide life if I can put it, if I can put it that way, to people, those who are deserving it, to bring in the, see, money or, is it okay?
Yes.
The money for me is not that thing which is on the paper. For me, money is pure energy. That means if this is a 20 rupee note or a 1,000 rupee note these days, sorry, 500 rupee note, so I give this to somebody or I get something out of it. So this does not have any value till this one gets transformed into something which we want or need or desire, or we want it for somebody else even. So this gets transformed. Only energy gets transformed into something, and energy is the only thing which cannot be destroyed. So money, for you bring in the resources and you pass on the energy to the deserving ones, and they transform that according to their understanding, their idea, their worldview, their life, whichever the way they want. So it is a hugely responsible job, and I am extremely, extremely proud to be connected to this institution. And I apologize for not knowing you in the first place. Having said all that, I want to start with this thought. As you were describing something, the thought crossed my mind is, as you said, that spoken to be understood. I think before speaking, before words, is silence. Words are extension of your being. If I am here, if I stand like this in this particular position and like that, for example, or like this, or like this, or like that. Even if you are not my mother, you would know there is some issue here, right? Mothers understand without you telling or even wanting to share. So the physical body that you all have vibrates in a certain frequency. Before you speak, you are already speaking with your being, with your body. So when an actor comes into the stage, an actor enters to the stage, and just like this, I'm already speaking, I didn't say a word, right? And then if you come in like this, for example, so I am speaking another language. So it is, words are extension of what you are feeling. Now if I come here and I stand here and she is not saying a word, I'm not saying a word, and then if she has the intention to understand what I am wanting to say because I'm standing here, she would say, but she may not also say, she might just do this. I'm open to hear you. She might not say that also. But from her being, the body takes shape of your intention. They say the squirrel looks like a squirrel because of the squirrelness of the squirrel. You understood what I said? The squirrel looks like a squirrel because of the squirrelness of the squirrel. Because I vibrate in a certain way, the Adilness of Adil makes me look like Adil. So what you feel inside is vibrating and communicating already to the person who is in front of you. So that means it's a tougher job than you thought. If you thought that you will fix it with words, if you thought you will fix it with language, it's not going to work. It has to be done even in a much fundamental stage. And that is a life skill. That is where this opportunity that you have received or you have chosen to perform can change your life for so much better, because you'll get an opportunity every moment of your life to give something to somebody. How many people have that capacity? Imagine if your job is to say, good morning, how are you doing today? There are a lot of people who does that job, don't they? And they have gotten the opportunity to say good morning, to say 100 times a day. And they say it like this: good morning, what can I do for you, sir, today? Good morning, what can I do for you, sir, today? Good morning, क्या कर सकता हूँ बताइए आपके लिए? So when you say good morning, and you have to say it because you have chosen to do the job, right? So when you say it, and the word means good morning, means what? Intellectually it means that have a wonderful morning. But if you are not feeling it, you say, good morning, good morning. That's the subtext. In acting we use that all the time. Yeah, I love you so much. You bastard. That's what I'm saying. Or I can say, oh my God, I hate you. I really hate you. I hate you. Come here, you bastard. You see, so you can say something and mean something completely different. So words are just a vehicle for transporting your inner feelings to the other. And that other could be your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, your friends, your people who you would be serving to. Doesn't matter. But if you don't practice it at home, it cannot suddenly become that effective for somebody who you don't know. How would it work? If you don't practice driving in a secure place, you can't just go on the road without knowing, oh, this is the steering, and this is the brake, and this is the clutch, and this is the accelerator, and then I have to do this, and then look to the right mirror, and the left mirror, and the back mirror. There have been accidents. So secure place to practice what Mr. Rohit has mentioned about empathy is to practice in a secure place where you are not so scared to be vulnerable. That you can go back home if you are from Delhi, or whenever you go back to your homes, if you have parents, if you have sons, if you have your friends, look at the eyes and say, how are you? Actually ask. Actually find out how are you. It's a tough job. It's a very tough job to even ask how the other person actually is, who you know very well, and actually we feel shy, we feel scared. If the other person says, I'm not well, are you there to listen to me? You know? Or the other person might say something you are not expecting. The fear could be stemming from very complex issues. Maybe something happened in your childhood. Maybe some stars have crossed your constellation. Or maybe in your last life you were something else. I don't know those things. But I know one thing, I would like to be effective. I would like to be empathetic. I would like to do my job well. I would like to be a person who people look up to. I would like to be an example of a person who people would come to talk to me and feel pleasant talking to me. That I create a pleasant atmosphere around me so that people feel very comfortable. This brings me to the thought which came to my mind when you were talking. Now, people say quite often, you need to be confident. Am I looking confident? I'm not looking overconfident, am I? I'm sitting like this, by the way. I'm not like that. Confidence, the definition of confidence, someone gave it to me, and which is so beautiful. That someone is a South American peasant talking to a UCLA professor who used to teach anthropology. And the peasant is giving this example what confidence is. He says, his name was Don Juan, and he says, you are confident only then when you can make the person who is standing before you, and that person who is standing before you is smaller than you in every aspect. Economically, age-wise, intellectually, wisdom-wise, height-wise, size-wise, he is smaller than you, and yet you make him feel confident in front of you. Only then you are confident. And I thought that was one of the finest examples that what confidence means. That when you are not scared to give that and to empower the other person, fully empower the other person to be confident. Like, kya baat hai, batao na. And he could be a villager with no shoes. And this is only possible, probably, or maybe there are so many ways, I just know one of the ways, when we recognize deeply the other person as a pure, wholesome human being, and not his social status, not his political ideology, not his religion, not his caste, not how he looks, how his hair is, what he wears, and all those things which we use in so many other aspects in our life to reduce the human being to a certain identity. And that kills the other person, and unknowingly that kills the person who is doing it as well. Because as soon as you reduce the other person to a certain quantity or quality, you become that, because you're looking from that what you're looking at. You become what you're looking at also. That's why hatred kills the person who hates. And that's why hatred is such a dangerous thing in human history. Always kill the person who hated you, because it consumes everything. It consumes the person who is hateful. So then trying to be empathetic means that you have to find skills, practices, औज़ार जिसको हम tools कहते हैं, कि हर दिन मैं practice करूँगा जिसके वजह से मुझे जो मैं हूँ उससे मैं थोड़ा सा और दायरा जो है अपना विशालता जो है, जो हमारे हृदय का दायरा है, वो थोड़ा सा और बढ़े. इसको बढ़ाना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. ऐसे बढ़ा के पकड़ के रखें एक घंटे के लिए, फिर इलास्टिक जैसा ना थोड़ा सा और खींच जाता है. Expansiveness we call it in our practice. We call it expansiveness. फिर आप एक घंटा तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि everything is good, beautiful. You're looking at your mother, forgiving her. You're looking at your son, forgiving him for all the badmashis and naughtiness and all the hurtful things that he or she has said to you. But then again it shrinks. You have to continuously keep holding it all the time in order to stay in one place. It's almost like you are swimming against the current of the river. Even to stay in one place, one has to swim hard. Forget about going forward. But if you choose to do so, the reward is extraordinary. The reward is priceless. So we cannot let go of this opportunity that you have now, because you have chosen to do the job, to serve. That how is it possible to practice certain things in my daily life, and that should be more important than eating food, according to my understanding. That's what I try to prioritize that work. That खाना, film करना, acting करना तो pretext है. मेरा असली जो काम है वो ये प्रैक्टिस करना है कि मुझे एक ढंग का इंसान तो बना दे, क्योंकि मेरा जन्म ही स्कूल से नहीं हुआ, इंसान हुआ है, और वो मेरा पहला आइडेंटिटी है, ना कि मैं किसका बेटा हूँ, किसका भाई हूँ, कौन से देश का सिटीजन हूँ, ना कि कौन से काम करता हूँ कि अच्छा एक्टर है। तो क्या हो गया, आप एक्टिंग करते हो, आप और कुछ करते हो, अपने अपने जगह पे अपने अपने है ना, सभी इंपॉर्टेंट काम है। अगर मैं इंपॉर्टेंट हूँ तो आप भी इंपॉर्टेंट है। जो साफ करते हैं, जो दरवाजा खोलते हैं आपके लिए, वो भी उतना ही इंपॉर्टेंट है जो आप करते हो। अगर वो रिकग्निशन आपको इंटेलेक्चुअली तो हम बिलीव कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसको सचमुच आपके इमोशनल साइकोलॉजिकल रियलिटी में बदलना जो है वो बहुत कठोर परिश्रम चाहिए। कंटिन्यूअसली यू हैव टू बी विजिलेंट अबाउट इट, अदरवाइज इट जस्ट गोज, बिकॉज लाइफ विल हैपन टू यू। लाइफ विल से अरे यार वो तो बड़ी लंबी लंबी लॉफ्टी बातें हैं, उसको पकड़ के रखने से हमको लोग मार देंगे। नहीं मारेंगे, आई एम वन ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल्स कि नहीं मारते हैं लोग आपको, आपको पसंद करने लगते हैं, आपको रिवॉर्ड्स मिलने लगते, रिवॉर्ड जो बाहर से नहीं आते, अंदर से आते हैं, जिसको इंट्रिंसिक जॉय कहते हैं, अंदरूनी आनंद जिसको कहते हैं। और आनंद में जब आप रहते हैं तब आपको ना थोड़ा सा कम मिल जाए कुछ खाने में, सोने में थोड़ा सा कंफर्ट कम मिल जाए, पैसे थोड़ा सा कम मिल जाए, थोड़ा सा रिकग्निशन भी कम मिल जाए आपके बॉसेस से, फिर भी मजा आता है क्योंकि आप आनंद में हैं। अगर करके किसी से वैलिडेशन के लिए काम करते हैं तो फिर मुश्किल है आपका। वैलिडेशन इफ यू वांट फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, यू मे गेट इट, यू मे नॉट गेट इट। अगर नहीं मिलेगा तो क्या करेंगे आप? डिप्रेस, फिर वी स्टार्ट बिचिंग अबाउट ईच अदर, अरे उसको हो गया, अरे मैंने। So then we start going to that zone, and that is a trap. That is the biggest trap that you will fall into. It's like a dark pit. वहाँ से बाहर निकलना बड़ा मुश्किल होता है। फिर हम दारू पीते हैं, फिर हम ये करते हैं, फिर उसके पास जाते हैं जो और बिचिंग करते हैं, क्योंकि बाकी so it is a vicious circle. If you fall into that, it's difficult to get out of it. So to stay out of it and to have an attitude, I would not even say positive attitude, I would say only attitude. That's the attitude of gratitude. The greater attitude means gratitude. कि आपको जो इस वक्त मिला है, इधर बैठे हैं, इस घर में बैठे हैं, या जहां भी यहाँ से जाएंगे, जैसा महसूस कर रहे हैं, जो पहने हैं, जितना पैसा आपके बैंक में है, जितना आपको मिल रहे हैं, जो आपके भाई है, बहन है, जॉब है, उसके लिए आप अब हर वक्त अगर कर पाते हैं हर वक्त को, ये एक टूल है, ये एक टेक्निक है, वर्चू नहीं है। लोग आपको वर्चुअस कह सकते हैं, लेकिन आप वर्चू बन के थोड़ा सा अहंकार ना आ जाए आपके अंदर कि अच्छा मैं तो ग्रेटिट्यूड हमेशा करता हूँ। नहीं, ये एक टेक्निक है, ग्रेटिट्यूड महसूस करना आपके हर एक चीजों के प्रति। सांस ले पा रहे, कितने लोग सांस भी नहीं ले पा रहे, मैं बात कर पा रहा हूं, सुन पा रहा हूं, सुन पा रहा हूं, देख पा रहा हूं, चल पा रहा हूं, उसके ऊपर एक सर्विस में मिला है जिस जहां मेरे पास इतना एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि मैं सर्व भी कर पा रहा हूं लोगों को जो डिजर्विंग लोग हैं उनको। तो दिस इज आई वुड से वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी for me as well as an actor. I could not believe being born in Gwalpara, in a tiny place where newspaper used to come 3 days after they were published, that I would be performing in Star Trek where they cross the galaxies. You know, I could not believe. So forget about now, even when I had nothing, nobody knew me apart from very few friends, of course. So I've been lucky to be found by great teachers who taught me. One of my great teachers who is an ashramite from Sri Aurobindo Ashram. The other one, another great teacher of mine who is my spiritual mentor. They gave me tools to practice. And one of the most fundamental tool is this, being in gratitude. No matter what you feel, बहुत खराब महसूस कर रहे हो, because it is important for you that you are going through that. So having gratitude for that as well. It's a tough one, I'm telling you. It will be like आपको swim करना पड़ेगा मतलब हुआ रहने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल काम है. Anyway, having said all that, ma'am, if you have any question.
Well, that's an absolutely engaging conversation where you've transported all of us to a very different world in such a simple language. You have conveyed so much to us, talking about speaking to be understood, about empathy, about connecting, all of that. So yes, while all of that has been included, one question that comes to our mind, as you just mentioned, you grew up in Assam and then traversed the globe, and then from theatre to stand-up comedy to cinema. How did you navigate your sense of identity?
Gee, it's a good question, because I think that will also come up, because when you go, I'll connect it to the intent behind this gathering with the questions that you're putting me. Imagine coming from a small little village called Gwalpara. Gwalpara is milkman, women place, which is the West Assam, border of Bengal. And coming from there to Delhi is almost going from southern tip of Spain to Scandinavia, distance-wise. You know what I mean? And culturally as well. Assam is very different. We have similar language, Sanskrit-based language. Assamese is 70-80% Sanskrit, Hindis as well. So, but culturally, attitude-wise, emotional outbursts that I have seen in Delhi is extremely harsh, which had been from my perspective. I was like, oh my God, kya kar raha hu main yahan par? Then, of course, I started studying. That's my job as an actor, to understand why people behave the way they behave. There is always a backstory. And that is one of the other things that I have learned, one of the fundamental things that I have learned in acting while I was trained by great teachers, an actor, that everybody has a backstory. Now, what does it mean? It means that we see a person on the television. If the screaming guy, he's the most screaming guy you see on television. Okay, let's not name this person. The screaming guy is accusing somebody, is a thief, or nobody, or anybody else that you meet or you hear about, that is a thief, is a murderer, is a rapist. Every human being has a backstory. Till the time they have committed that act, there is a life behind it. There are steps and reasons and circumstances that has led to that. I'm not saying that that person could not have taken or chosen something else. But in order for us to have the most important element which he mentioned, Rohitji mentioned, empathy, we must understand the backstory. Only then we would know, not necessarily agree with it at all. I would not agree with Hitler, but I would understand him if I have read his backstory. That, इसके वजह से इस बंदे ने ये किया है और यहाँ तक पहुँचा है कि he had killed 6 million Jewish human beings. How did he do that? And then you read the biography or read the story, backstory, then you understand, अच्छा, हर एक सेकंड में अगर मैं चूज करता हूँ कि मैं इस तरफ जाऊँ या इस तरफ जाऊँ, इधर जाऊँ, 1 इंच इधर जाऊँ, 2 इंच इधर जाऊँ, 1 मिलीमीटर इधर जाऊँ, ये शब्द इस्तेमाल करूँ या वो शब्द करूँ, उसके वजह से ये एक दिशा उनका पैदा हो गया है और वो जाके उस जगह पर पहुंचा है. और ये गाड़ी आ रहा है उसको मार दिया. Right? Accidents happen. This guy who survived the crash, one guy who survived the crash, to judge anybody. Because if the same circumstances would have happened to you, probably you would be doing the same thing. What that heinous crime the criminal has done. We don't know because we are not in that situation. How do we pass a moral judgment to a person who has committed that heinous crime because of the circumstances that he had been or she had been in? And if I were to be in his position or her position, I would probably have done the worst. I would have killed 2 people instead of one person. I don't know that. Till I am in the situation, I can't say for sure, no, मैं तो ऐसा कभी नहीं करता. बोल तो सकते हो, लेकिन सचमुच क्या करोगे आप, ये कतई नहीं बोल सकते आप. कि उस समय अगर मुझे ये कोई गन पकड़ता है यहाँ पर और मेरे बेटे की कनपट्टी में किसी ने गन पकड़ा और बोला कि तुम बीवी को बचाओ कि बेटे को बचाओ, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, God help somebody in this position, you know. I truly don't know what I will do. Or you allow this person to rape your wife and putting a gun to your son and to your head. What will I do? I don't know. Probably I will kill this guy. Probably I'll get killed. Probably not. I'll say, oh my God, maybe I would like to save my son. Maybe I would like to say, what do you choose? I have no idea. So इसलिए मैं ये कहता हूँ कि जैसे दस्यु रत्नाकर से वाल्मीकि बने हैं, जो रॉबर थे, और अचानक एक दिन नारद जी ने उनको पकड़ लिया और उनको कहा कि तुम्हारे कर्म का भर जो फल है वो आपको ही भुगतना पड़ेगा. नहीं, मैंने बेबी के लिए कर रहा हूँ, मैं अपने बेटे के लिए कर रहा हूँ. नहीं, वो लोग तो नहीं लेगा, पूछो जाके उनको. लेके गए उनके पास, उन्होंने कहा नहीं हम क्यों लेंगे, तुम मेरे हस्बैंड हो, आप मेरे पिताजी हो. I am not going to take the responsibility for actions. Why would I take it? He said, अरे ऐसा है. So then he turns to Narad and said, tell me what to do. He said, okay, jap karo, ram, 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 ram. So nobody knows what happens to which person at what time of life. We don't know. So what I'm trying to establish here is that we don't know how would we behave if we are put in a certain circumstance. So we are not in a position to judge anybody. Since we cannot judge anybody, I'm just bringing I'm giving you a logical argument. You can say, oh, your argument doesn't work. I'm most welcome to say that. Think about it. Since we are not in a position, in a high horse or high moral ground to judge anybody, then we are equal. We are all equal. Even if the person has committed crime. Forget about from lower class or less privileged class or less intellectually evolved person, or comes from a very extremely high privileged class. But we are all equal that way, especially for you, the jobs that you're going to do. And that should give a kind of a platform for you to stand, okay, see if I'm equal, when I look at this person and I don't understand his language, you are posted in, which state are you from, sir? Maharashtra. And he's posted in Assam. Doesn't I like, क्या खबर बड़ा सब नहीं? They will like, यार मुझे नहीं समझ में आता आसामी. हिंदी में बात करो, राष्ट्रभाषा है ना, तो आप गए. Right? की खबर अपना भला से? Hey, please help me. These are words, but as I said, words are later. It's the inner intention which you mentioned and how you vibrate already. Because you might be having a bad night. Last night मच्छर आ गया, असम में बहुत मच्छर है, मलेरिया भी हो गया आपको, और मच्छर देखने से रात भर परेशान होते हैं. ये जो आपका circumstance है, वो सामने वाला बंदा नहीं देखेगा, and he is not necessarily expected to also understand your situation, but you are expected to understand his or her situation because you are in a powerful position. and you are expected to be more educated and more wise, especially doing your job. Not a life skill coach, no. But for that job, as much as you need, to have the ability to go out of your irritation of the last night's, attacked by 1,000 mosquitoes, haven't slept, and you had been smelling fish if you're a vegetarian all night, because Assamese people every day, and you are pissed, but yet you have to come and do the job. And then find a way, use a tool which will keep your heart warm, and then you will find the right words. Even if you say the same word as I have established before, I hate you so much. Come, give me a hug, So, it doesn't matter what words you speak. What matters is when it is coming out from. What is your operating energy? Are you vibrating in a pleasant vibration? Where are you vibrating? Are you vibrating here? These days, as we were talking today, just before we came here, the films that you watch, we watch, not you watch, we watch films which are being churned out, which are super duper hit, earning 1,000 crores, and some are earning more than 1,000 crores, are quite often they're being catered to, as Sri Aurobindo puts it, not toward the film, but generally speaking about life, he puts it, that quite often they cater to the lower movements. Lower movements means chakras, which is below the navel, where fear, anxiety, violence, flight or fright. अभी आजकल न्यू एज यूट्यूब में बहुत सारे पॉडकास्ट देखेंगे, वो लोग बहुत बोलते रहते हैं आजकल. But this has been talked about and taken to the epitome of finesse by Indian rishi munis and the masters who were born in India, including from Ramakrishna to Sri Aurobindo to Ramana Maharshi to Vivekananda, and all of them have talked about it, and has taken to huge height of understanding of human behavior, human condition. तो वहाँ जब आपको हर समय इस किस्म के फिल्में आपको उस जगह पर स्टर करता है पैसा कमाने के लिए, क्योंकि उनका इंटेंट बिहाइंड मेकिंग दोस फिल्म्स आर टू अर्न मनी and nothing else. And it doesn't matter what they put it in. They are not taking any responsibility. If you consume such things, as I was sharing, if you consume samosa for lunch, dinner, breakfast every day for 1 whole month, you will be unwell. And this is worse than samosas, what you're eating as watching on your phone or on your film screen. It's like fried, deeply fried, thrice 20 times used oil, using oil, you're having pakoras in an unhygienic place, this kind of films that you're watching. And what it does to your psychological, emotional body, these kind of films. So it is, and then life is there on top, ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, फलाना नहीं है, कहाँ जाएंगे, बेटा कहाँ जाएगा, स्कूल में क्या जाएगा, ये करेगा, वो करेगा, फलाना. All those things are there. In the onslaught of all that, how do I keep my expansive self? And it's a tall and high demand and a tall ask, even to ask of you. But as I said, if you do practice it, find something to hold on to. It has already come to you, I'm sure, that someone, quite a lot of you have heard about it, that, if we practice this, then this will happen. It comes to you if you seek. This is my experience. I cannot speak of my journey without being, how do I put it? It is scientific for me because it has happened so many times. Particularly if you look at it, whenever I wanted something, deeply sought something, it came. Including practice, including books, including people that I needed to meet, including places. I was at the right place at the right time. I found the right book and the right advice and the right words. right atmosphere, right light, right opportunities, right from the time I decided to follow my heart, that I want to act. And it just happened. I do not take credit for what I did. I take responsibility for what I did, not the credit, because it doesn't belong to me. I had been taught by the greatest of teachers. Why I'm mentioning this is that if you seek that you need to find a way to match your job with your life, because it will take up a lot of your lifetime. नहीं? आपका जो जॉब है वो सुबह 10 से तो शुरू होता है, लेकिन शुरू करना पड़ता है 8 बजे। ब्रेकफास्ट करेंगे, आप प्रिपेयर करेंगे ना कि जाना पड़ेगा, आज ये करना है, बस लेना है, टैक्सी लेना है, गाड़ी लेना है, फिर फैमिली है उनको बताना पड़ेगा, हस्बैंड को बोलना पड़ेगा या वाइफ को बोलना पड़ेगा कि ये करते करते ऑफिस में से कल क्या हुआ था, ये हो गया, वो सारा ऑक्यूपाई करता है, आपका जिंदगी ऑक्यूपाई कर लेता है। अगर करना ही पड़ेगा आपको, इसको आपको लाइफ ही तो फिर लाइफ स्किल सीखना पड़ेगा। जैसे मैंने एक्टिंग और लाइफ के बीच में जो गैप है उसको समझने के लिए मैं पागल हो गया था। I traveled and traversed this country for 2 years on my motorbike to answer that question. Why do I act? Is it for my ego? Is it for my narcissistic, desire? Or is it or am I saying, oh, it is समाज के लिए noble? Am I just pretending to be a noble guy? क्या समाज के लिए कर रहे हैं? तो कैसे समाज को ये मदद कर रहे हैं? ये सवाल पूछ के फिर जाके पौंडीचेरी पहुंचा, और पौंडीचेरी के आश्रम के लाइब्रेरियन जो है उन्होंने मुझे रामकृष्ण परमहंस देव के कथामृतम पकड़ा दिया, ये पढ़ा, और वो पढ़ के मैं बिल्कुल I was very disturbed. I thought, what am I doing with my life? I should do that. But then it's a long journey. I'm not going there now. So finding the inner calling, if you have taken this job opportunity, I would say to find the life skill to make sure that when you go to office, when you come back home, you are like, wow, I had a great day. Instead of like, oh God, ये अगर हो गया तो आपको छोड़ना चाहिए. Then you should leave the job. Then it is not meant for you. To cast yourself in the right role in your life is very important. A lot of directors, they cast wrong actors for the role. But I made sure I cast myself in the right role to be able to pursue art of acting. That's the right choice I made. Because every time I go, I'm like, I'm going for a shoot, or I'm going for a rehearsal. I come back, I'm like, oh wow, that scene. And on top of that, I get paid. I'm like, wow. It's like आपका खाना हो गया और आपको dessert मिल रहा है. Dessert खाएंगे? हाँ खाएंगे. तो वो है पैसा. Dessert के बाद वो बोल रहे हैं कि अच्छा वो आपको ना उस दिन उस स्वीट के दुकान में भी बुलाया है वो टेस्ट करने के लिए, वो फिर फेम भी हो गया. वो तो ऐसे आ रहा है. That was not my intention. My intention was to have fun in my life. And through that, rest of the things happened. Was it too long?
Not at all. Very interesting and very engaging. We could actually go on. So, while you've covered the entire gamut of what we had actually thought of, we had questions coming in from some of our officers who have logged in. Well, you have covered most of it, but there's one interesting question which I would like to put. This is from Mr. Vicky Sharan, who was our RPFC at Bhagalpur, and he has sent an interesting question which I would like to put to you. Vicky Sharan from Bhagalpur. He asks, as someone deeply involved in public administration and policy, I often feel that satire holds a mirror to society in ways formal discourse cannot. How do you, through satire, balance speaking the truth to power while still engaging audiences who may themselves be part of the very system you are critiquing?
Come again. I have to understand.
Okay, so he is trying to say, through your satire, you are, I mean,
Speaking truth to power.
Yes.
Yeah, I did that when I was in Assam.
So
Huh.
he says, how do you balance that? Because you are speaking the truth to power,
Yeah.
and that power may actually be a part of that very system. Now, how do you balance this? This is what his point
Balancing
is.
with what? I didn't understand that part. Am I balancing with? Like balance with the two sides. One is that I'm speaking truth to power through my satirical format, and balancing with?
So how are you balancing that with the truth? Because very often critiquing the power
Could be.
could be either not palatable or
Yeah.
not,
Right,
or not
right. Yeah,
possible.
correct. Okay.
Sometimes not possible.
How do you balance it? Okay.
So how do you balance
Yeah.
speaking the truth?
I haven't done it for a long time, but when we did it, मैंने 1980 since 1985 till 1990, I was a part of a stand-up comedy group. Stand-up comedy would be not very apt name. It would be, I would call it satirical, political and social satire, socio-political satire group, and we used to criticize the hell out of the government. And some people say we were responsible for the fall of two governments as well in Assam. And I was invited by an Assamese recently. I was invited by an Assamese television channel to participate like this, conversation with the editor-in-chief. And I was talking, there were ministers from Assam and some bureaucrats from Assam. They were sitting there, and so I told them the story. That there is this amazing, it's a very funny story. So there used to be, I don't know, he might be still in Assamese politics, I'm not sure yet. So I will not take his name, but he had long beard, you know, very long beard. And before he became, sorry, I'm moving too much. Eh?
No, it's okay.
Acha. So you can give me like a TED talk, you can give me a yeah, but I don't like, I never go to TED talk because I don't like that whole thing. So the minister was sitting, and I was the youngest group member of the 4 members of the satirical group. And the senior most and the next senior, they generally start the story. And the format is like, oh, do you know, last night I dreamt of something. And the other one says, oh, what did you dream? And it goes like that. So when they came and they saw this minister who was sitting with long beard, who promised before election that he would take away or he would move the railway tracks which goes through the city, dissecting the city to the south and, you know, into south and north, to the outskirts of the city. And he promised he will do it within 6 months, after he would become the minister, if he wins the election. The election he won, it was 1 year later, and he's still sitting there, and he got an opportunity. He said, hey, do you know that in Mahabharata there was a character called Bhishma? Another guy doesn't have any clue why he is saying it. He said, yeah, there was a Bhishma. And he did some promises. He said, yeah, but he kept the promise. We also have a Bhishma in Assam. He's sitting right here, with the equally long beard as Bhishma would have. And he promised this would happen, which I just mentioned, this railway track. And he is still here. The railway track is also still here. He never fulfilled his promise. What can we do with him now? And then everybody started laughing, poor guy. He had to stand up and leave. And I told this story that day in this television conclave in Delhi, and then I commented, imagine if I criticize you like this now. What will you do to me? And everybody laughed. Because it is, how did we balance? I think balance cannot happen in one way. There must be a graceful understanding of oneself about the failures that one has. That if the power, whoever, in the time of the other governments, or any government for that matter, or anybody, whoever is in a powerful position must have the grace to accept and reflect that, oh, we messed it up. We promised it. It's very easy to apologize. Sorry, we couldn't do it. That is grace. And that used to be there. But for several complex reasons, probably we all have lost quite a lot of grace. We have fallen from grace. We do not have the courage and bravery to accept that we messed it up at a certain point, and to be able to accept the fact in front of the people who has given the power in the first place, who voted for you. So I don't know how to balance it now. I don't think some people are doing it in spite of the fear and the kind of attacks which is happening, but I think that's normal. That's the inner calling you have to follow, or you just keep quiet.
Yes, so I guess it is a call one has to take on case-to-case basis and take it on from there. Maybe trusting one's own judgment of the balances, what has to be balanced, and also probably the kind of risk. I may have a greater risk appetite than you, and so that also is very much individual.
I guess so.
Someone who's more risk averse would tread the safer path, which need not necessarily mean that he is not keen to challenge the power, but he may have different methods. So
absolutely. No, so there is one story which came to my mind, which is again a beautiful story about what you feel like doing. Like, I would like to protest. You go ahead and do the activism, and some people would say, no, but we can do it another way, So there's a story which is very beautiful story, and maybe that will answer Mr. So Hanuman and Yamaraj is going to meet Vishnuji. Vishnuji in his abode, and Yamaraj being senior god, Hanuman being the most emotional person who opens his heart, showing Ram and Sita. That's the kind of degree of devotion that he has for this amazing human being. So he and Yamaraj is about to enter Vishnu's abode, and suddenly sees a bird on a tree. He looks at the bird, Yamaraj, and kept looking at it for a long time. And Hanuman from behind says, oh. And he looked at the bird, being Hanuman, emotional person, his emotions are riding high. He said, oh, such a beautiful bird. Now Yamaraj is looking at it, and that means his time is up. So God, oh, he's such a beautiful bird, oh my God. And he was like, no way. And then Yamaraj kept looking, and then suddenly disconnected and went in to meet Vishnuji. And Hanuman, he went to the bird, and bird looked at Hanuman. Oh, Hanumanji, aap chup. Zindagi sawan, Zindagi, your life is at risk. I'm going to take you and fly you 3,000 kilometers from here. Don't move. Where I put you, stay there. And Hanuman goes and comes back within a second. And then, as if nothing has happened, enters the meeting room of Vishnuji. And Vishnu looked at Hanuman, knowing everything. He's the one who's maintaining the balance of the Srishti. And Yamaraj had been reporting whatever he had to report, and meeting got over. On the way back, Vishnuji comes and looks at the tree. Looks around, looks below, and then looks at Hanuman. Hanuman can't lie, he's God, so he says, I'm sorry, aapne itna sundar, you're looking at the bird, and I'm sure you'd have killed him, killed the bird, so I just flew that bird 3,000 kilometers from here, and blah, blah, blah. And Vishnu was looking at him for some time. And he looked at the Vishnu's palace, and he looked at Hanuman and says, thank you. Hanuman was like, thank you? Did scold nahi kiya? You should have scolded me, I've done a terrible thing. So he said, Vishnuji, why are you thanking me? No, because when I was, Yamraj saying, when I was looking at the bird, I was marveling that, my God, this bird is supposed to die 3,000 kilometers from here. And I was wondering, how will that happen? And then I thought, that's above my pay grade. I would rather go and meet Vishnuji. It's a brilliant story. There's the bird's perspective, there's Vishnuji's perspective, Yamraj's perspective, and Hanuman's perspective. Most of us are like birds. We need rescuing. You see? We need like somebody, kuch to kar de mere yaar. मैं तो विक्टिम हूँ ना, ये मुझे इसलिए नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है, मेरे लिए कर दे यार, कर दे please, you know. And then Hanuman comes and picks you, puts you in a place is worse for you. If death is worse, for me, probably not. Probably that's another beginning, you know, however you look at it. So this is probably a sort of a little different philosophical answer to the question that whatever you feel like, by rescuing the bird, Hanuman actually preserved the law of nature. आपके पर्सपेक्टिव से वो नहीं भी हो सकता है. आप जो पैसा दे रहे हो उनको, वो शायद कोई लेके गन खरीद के किसी को मारेगा भी. You never know, but you are doing your responsibility. So that's the reason to be humble, and humility is one of the finest qualities that human being can ever aspire for. And if we have that, then rest of the things, and humility is a consequence to some extent, according to my experience, is to have gratitude. Gratitude brings humility. Gratitude, oh, there's a glass of water. Imagine there is even, he made sure there is elaichi also here. I mean, what else can I ask for? You understand what I'm saying? To find reasons to be grateful, any reason for that matter.
Brilliant. I think we're all spellbound by the brilliant raconteur, and we are seeing the Sakshat storyteller.
I love storytelling.
The storyteller actually demonstrating his craft so brilliantly that so many lessons, life lessons, are imparted, just in passing.
It's fun.
Yes.
Fun, yeah.
So I think that is the highlight, the high point of storytelling. That so many profound truths, lessons can be imparted in so simple a way. While we would love to go on, but the hands of the clock tie us down.
Yeah.
So we would I think try to conclude. Thank you, Adilji, for this brilliant, engaging session. Your wisdom, your warmth, and your candid views, which resonate, I'm sure, with all of us, and also inspiring us with your vision, especially for the young officers here who would find so much meaning and depth in your words. When we say when wisdom meets humility, that's when true leadership is born. So thank you, Adilji, for lighting the thought within us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.